click to kickstart it. And right now you'll be welcome to this very simple dialog. So down here you have the range of projects that you are working on. You can see them listed over here, and you can see to start, you can click on this to start creating a project. You can log in if you want. If you have an account, you can just easily log in. And down here you have the settings. This is the global settings. You can just click and see global settings over here, and many other settings like the terms and conditions and many more. Okay, so but for just this tutorial, just go ahead and click to start, and you will be welcome to this editing platform. So up here you have the media bin. This is where you dump all your media. These are various functions that I will explain much later. The audio functions, the text, how to add text and stickers, effects, transitions, filters, and other adjustments as well. So this is the preview panel. This is just like a player where you can preview what is happening on the timeline. This is your timeline. All the other features, you bring them in over here. All the video clips, you bring them in over here. The video, the audio, the images, all the media, you dump them over here and navigate around. This is where you see the preview. And then these are the details. Okay, this is like the property panel that you can see what you are working on and how and what you can edit accordingly. Let me start by importing a clip. You can just easily drag and drop, or you can come to this plus button, just click and navigate to wherever you have your clip, select it and click on import, and that will import it as a project in the timeline or in the media bin. Okay, as you try to play, you can see the preview. Okay, so you can easily drag and drop it into the timeline if you want to start editing the video, or alternatively you can undo this and just come over. As you hover over it, you can come to this plus sign. You just hit on plus sign and it's going to add it to the timeline directly. So one thing you should pay attention to once you add a clip to the timeline is you have these features enabled. You can you can mute or unmute the audio over here by just clicking. You can mute and unmute it. You can mute and unmute the audio if you want, and then you can hide or show the video clip if you want, and you can lock the track completely so that it doesn't you cannot edit it any longer. Okay, you can lock it and unlock it just like by hitting this very lock icon. Clip, you can have the video properties over here. You can have different kind of options like the position size. You can zoom in and out. You can scale it up or down. Depending, you can scale it up or down, and then you can change the position, both the X, Y, and Z axis. And the X, Y axis, you can change them across, and then you can rotate accordingly. At any given point, you may decide to rotate to any angle of your choice. Once you want to get it back to the default setting, you can just come back to the rotation or the written description over here and just double click on it, and it's going to take it back to the default section. Or alternatively, you can do for the entire section by just coming to this arrow and just hitting it once, and it's going to reset everything back to default. You have blending option. You can have opacity. You can increase or decrease the opacity accordingly. I prefer to leave it at 100. You have the fill options as well. You can change the different fields and you can apply to all. So this is the video properties. You have the audio properties over here. From this very clip, you have the video, the volume controls. You can increase or decrease the volume from here without really doing it down here. Okay, so over here you can see the audio controls, or you can see the audio profile over here. But then in terms of the increase and decrease of the volume, you can do it over here. You can increase or decrease, and you can see the variation as well from the clip audio profile over here, increasing or decreasing as well. So you can see it increasing and decreasing, and then you can also reset from here or from here directly to the default setting. Now we have the fade in and out. If you like, you can fade in into the clip as it's starting. You can fade it in. You can do that manually, or you can do that automatic from here, or you can come down to the clip by just coming to the extreme end of the clip. You can see it over here, and you can drag easily, and you can see the fading, very little fading. Okay, so you can fade it in gradually, and then you can fade out gradually. As you hover over towards the end of the clip, you can see this small dot. You can just hold it, and you can see it fades. It can fade out in terms of the audio. Okay, so this is how to fade in and out, and you can enable noise reduction from here as well. Here you have the option to enable noise reduction, and you can do put in some voice effects depending. There are some different effects that you can add to your voice if you are interested in adding some effects. There are a bunch of them over here. Still on the same clip and still on the audio settings, you can manually also do all those things that we've just highlighted, and you can always undo in cases when you face any challenge. So to speed the clip, you can use this from the speed control settings over here. You can increase the timing. This is ×1. You can do ×2 or ×1.5 depending. So the clip is going to move a bit faster, and it will shorten just like so. It's going to be quite fast in terms of what it does. Okay, so it moves a bit faster. This is 1.8. all right, so you can equally make it slower in slow motion by reducing it to maybe 0.5%, and you're going to see it's going to be in slow motion. Yeah, so you can see even from the clip length it extended because this is now slow motion. And you can do voice tone change as well from here. You can change the voice tone from here, from smooth to slow motion. You can do all that from here. We have a series of animations. You can add animations to your settings. The beauty about this is as you hover over the animation, you'll be able to see the effect it's going to have on your video. So this is like the rolling. You can have your clips to run, and you can have your clips to kind of bounce just like so, and you can just click to apply it to your video. You can see it just bounce very fast. So let's try to give it a try. So you see the beginning as it shoots, you can see it very nicely, and you can put on any of the animations you want from here. All you need to do is to make sure you are online so you have that same effect. You can have this rotation in as well, very nice, and you have a series of other ones. You can have this very bounce in, so you can see it bounce. Once you click on this small download icon, it applies it. So you can go to the beginning also and see how it's going to start with some energy. You can see it very nicely and fantastically. So now you have other adjustments from this same clip as well. In terms of the LUTs, you can add coloration. You can play around with LUTs in cases if you have applied any LUT, and you've got other adjustments like the temperature, the hue, the saturation, and all that. You can do that from here and play around with the different features that you think your video is going to have. Okay, so in terms of saturation, you can increase or decrease the saturation. You can see depending on how far you are willing to go in terms of the color correction. You can put some hue over here to make it kind of look professional and nice, and then you can increase or decrease the temperature so that it becomes very visible. As you go down, this is cold, and as you go up, this is a bit warm. Okay, so just try to understand the effects, and at any given point you can double click on the property to get it back to the default again. Now you have the lightness option. You can increase the brightness and then play around with the contrast as well as the highlights. Okay, you can pop up the highlights and make the image sound kind of pops out. Very nice. All these are features you have handy when you are trying to do with color corrections and basic clip corrections. Also within, you have shadows. You can enable to eliminate shadows in cases when you have shadows on your video during the shooting. And then you have light sense. You can just play around with them and see the effect it's going to have, and gradually you will be able to master them accordingly. Then you have the sharpen effect. You can make the image to appear sharper, the video clip to appear very sharp and clear, and then you have other properties like the particles to reduce them, and the fades to reduce or increase, and then you have the vignettes in cases when you want to include vignettes to your video. You can see the effect. Okay, you can see the effect it's going to have, and the darkness increases towards here, and then the light vignette is introduced when you move towards the left. So all these you can get them by just getting your hands dirty and working on it directly. So this is how to play around with very basic properties of the clip. Down here you can do some basic editing. For example, you have the basic editing tools over here. The first one is the split clip. You can just click on it, and at any given point you have your playhead. Now you have split the clip into two. You have download clip 1 and you have clip 2. Just by hitting on this or by clicking on Command B. Command B can even enable the splitting as well. So you can move to anywhere. Let's say we want to split this clip at this point also. You can just hit Command B and it's going to give you the split. So now we have the clip split into 3 basic parts, and you can move them around, rearrange them as you so wish. Okay, so it's all up to you to move them around and see how you can rearrange them according to the story you are creating. So down here you have the selection tool. You can select, and you can use the split tool also with the letter B to split as well. So anytime at any given point you can always return to the selection tool with the letter A.
Okay, and at any given point, if you made any mistake, you can always press the undo button over here to undo things. And you can delete a given level or delete a given clip with this feature. You can freeze a given feature from here, and you can reverse a given flow of clip from, maybe you can move backwards, and then you can mirror a given clip from here, and then do some cropping as well within your clip. So these are the very basic editing features that you have. One thing I forgot to share is the letter B can enable the split or the razor button. Okay, once you hit on letter B on your keyboard, it's going to enable the split or the cut razor tool. Okay, letter B can enable that, you can see, and at any given point you can hit it to have a split of the clip at that point. Okay, so right now let's go back to the selection tool, and then you can see our clip has been selected or divided again. So this is just kind of a quick shortcut to apply cut or to split the clip into two. Another thing you can do is you can do ripple delete, or you can just select the clip. You can just select the clip, right click, you can come to delete over here. One thing with Capcut is it does the deleting and it will cover it directly. So you just delete and you can see it quickly covers the gap between. So very nicely done. So this is highly handy when you are trying to create number of cuts. So if you are working, you can just enable Ctrl B, you can just hit on Ctrl B and define the areas you want to cut. And if you want to delete, you can just go back to the selection control and then hit on anything. You can hit the delete button as well, and it's going to delete that particular section of the clip from the text, from the entire clip. Okay, so next is we have audio properties. You can access them from here. Audio library also, we can have it from here by just coming to the audio library, and you can have different kind of music. Even though some of them are not copyright free, you can just easily click on download and it will just apply it to your video, just like so, very nicely. So you have a preview of it, and then you can easily drag, or you can just hit on the plus sign and it's going to be added to your clip, just like so. Okay, so you have the option to do a lot of things over here. You can increase or decrease the volume manually, or you can do it from the audio properties over there. Okay, next is we have text. You can bring in different kind of text inside the clip. So you have default text. If you want to add any default text, by just clicking on it, it's going to have to add default text for you. And then you can have different kind of text temp over here. Effects over here, there are different kind of text you can easily drag. Just clicking on this to download, and you can see it has added it into your clip, and you can just easily drag and drop into the clip, just like so, and you can easily navigate around to that particular text, and you can see the default properties. You can see it showing on the screen. So you can, by selecting that particular text you've added, you can come to the text properties as well over here. You're free to add the text from here. Okay, and you're free to have the access to all these different features of the text editing, such as the font style. You can change the font style to any style of your choice. You can as well come down to font size. You can change any of the font size, increase or decrease. You have the boldness option. You can bold, you can underline, you can italize, you can change the color to white or red or blue or anything that you think can stand out. This is gradient coloration, so you have to choose the two effects, okay, the two color effects. And then you have font styles also from here. You can choose from this range of font styles and just apply them into the video. And you have the spacing. You can play around with the spacing. You have position. You can increase or decrease the size, play around with the XY axis, and then the rotation as well. And then you've got the blend option and the stroke. If you want to add stroke to make the text kind of stand out, you can add stroke as well very nicely. So this is how to add text. You have a range of other things like stickers. You can add stickers to your text at any given point. All you need is just to make sure it is downloaded, and then you can add it into your clip. So you can increase or decrease the length of whatever you are adding, be it the stickers, and you can play around with the position from here as well. Increase or decrease the size, and then you can play around with the positions. Okay, so you can move it manually, or you can move it from the X and Y axis. The same thing goes with the text. You are free to increase the sizing of how long it's going to stay in the clip. Okay, you can see it can stay this much and then fades out and then goes out, and then you have this sticker goes to go out at any given point. And then next we have the effects to the stickers. We have effects, and you can just check around, and as you hover over, you should be able to see the effect. Okay, you should be able to add the effect to see how it's going to look on your video. So for example, you can just click on this and it's going to add that particular effect directly. You can see it. So this is there are so many effects, a bunch of presets effects that you can easily add to your video to make it stand out and make it different. So it all boils down to you. You can check around and put in any effect of your choice. As you hover over, you can see some basic effects. You have different types of effects that you can easily add. Okay, so all you need is just to click and it's going to add it to your clip. Okay, so next we have transitions. Transitions are actually used to connect between clips, okay, or clips that you've separated. So as you hover over, also you will be able to have that effect. So for example, we have these two clips separated and we want to add a transition to them in between. All you need to do is to just come over and click to just select. Okay, so we just select this and just add it to the clip. Okay, it's going to add just like so in between the clips, and you can see the transition properties over here. You can extend the duration if you want, just by manually increasing. You can see the duration is extending on the clip, and you can reduce as well if you want. So you can try to come closer so that you can have a preview of how it's going to look like on the clip. So let's just have a preview. Yeah, so you can see how it's just easily transit to the other clip very nicely. You can increase the transition point, like I've said, from here, and you can decrease also to make it quite shorter and brief. You can do that as well, and then go back and just have a preview again. You can see it pretty fast. You can put this blink also. You can blink if you want. So all you need is just to make sure it is downloaded and you just add it. So once you click, it's going to add it, and you can see the preview if you want. You can just click here and it will add it just like so, and you can see the preview. Yeah, it's just blinked to the next clip. So that's kind of interesting. You're free to check. There are a bunch of different types of transitions. You can see a number of them, camera transitions and so many more, so many transitions over here. So just make sure you are connected to the internet so you can easily stream out, download and just add to your clip. Alright, then we have a range of filters as well that you can easily bring into your video to make clarity or to change the coloration or the overall look of that video. So you can just hover over to have a preview of what you want, and maybe at any given point, if you prefer a given effect or filter, you can just click to download it and just add it into the clip. Okay, so you just click to download, and then you can just press the blue icon, the plus sign, and just add it into your video. All right, so if it is down, it has downloaded, so you can just click to add it to your video, and you can see the effect is it has just produced. It has just given you the effect just like so, and you're free to increase or decrease the strength from here of that particular effect that you've just added. You can increase or decrease, and you can see as it is changing. Once you are on that particular clip, you will be able to see the effect and play around with it. Alright, so the last on the list is you have different kind of filters. You have life, you have food, you've got movies. If you want to add anyone related to movies, you got nature, you have this retro or B&W. You can check on any of them, and anyone that you feel comfortable and satisfied, you can easily select to add to your clip very nicely and easily. Last, we have the adjustments. You can do different kind of adjustment. These are custom adjustments. If you have any adjustments that you want to add, if you have some LUTs, you can import some LUTs and then bring into your clip and just go ahead and put it inside the clip and see how you can change your videos. Okay, so the last thing I want to show us today is on how to render and export your video into your computer. Okay, so to do that, all you need to do is to come to export at the top right corner over here. You can just click on export, and you have to specify two things. First is the name. Okay, so you can give it the name. You write the name over here, so you can call it trial 1, for example, or let's call it video editing 1. And then you specify the location where do you want it to export. The default is on the movies. You can go anywhere. For example, I've saved it on Capcut. I can just come to Capcut over here. I choose this location and it has saved it. It is going to save it in that location. So another thing you need to define is the resolution of the video. Right now it's at 1080p, which is the best. You can specify any other one if you want. You can go up to 4K if you want. And once you specify the resolution, you're free to go ahead and check the bitrate. Usually H.264 in the codecs is the best, and you can select the format. Either I usually go for MP4, okay, not MOV, and then the frame rate is 30 frame rates per second. And once you are done, you are certain with all this, you can go ahead and press on the export, and it's going to export this video clip that you've edited completely. So you can see right now from the bottom over here, the duration of the export is going to be 4 minutes 48 seconds, and the size of the video clip is going to be estimated to be for 585 megabyte. Okay, so you can just go ahead and click on export, and it's going to start the exporting process right away. So let's just wait for it to export the video, so you can just have a preview of what you have created or what you have done. In a nutshell, this is a bit about how to use the Capcut for desktop to download it and install it, and then use it to edit your footage very nicely. I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to always hit the subscribe and notification buttons to stay connected to this channel for more of our very useful videos. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.